They wrote me off, I ain't write them back. Follow me, but don't double tap. I ain't liking that. You subscribe, I monetize. Now who's striking that? Wanna see the contract? Who got the rights to that? This my story. I spent my whole life on life. Time's up. Shador Sanders with the rollie in the armor. I could do this shit with my eyes closed. The main attraction don't come at me with no side show. I'm selling high, they wanna buy low.
Good morning, good people. How we feeling, man? Hope y'all feeling good, looking good, smelling good, Still early. Hope you brush your teeth. Got your good old weekend over with, man. It's Tuesday morning, but feel like a Monday today, you know what I'm saying? Good weekend of football. Last night's game, right? Yes, that was yesterday's news. So we moving on to the new news today. We're gonna break down the weekend and see what was going on this weekend, bro. So how you feeling today, Cody?
I was going to say, I don't know if I'm just going to let you walk right past that one. You got the Dallas hat on, so I got to give you a little bit of respect. You got the Dallas hat on this Tuesday morning. I mean, come on, man.
Hey, that's what I like to see, bro. That's what we need. We got to clean the trash out, man. In order to clean the trash out, the room got to get dirty, right? If the room ain't dirty, you can't clean it. So, look, I'm loving what I'm saying, man. Break down. Look, the roof was falling down, right? They opened the roof. That's how you know that Jerry said he can't put the curtains up, but he tried to open the roof and the panels falling off. So that just lets you know where his team is headed, bro.
He's like, those panels weren't supposed to fall till the middle of the second quarter.
Hey, I'm just glad it wasn't on no person. I don't know where it fell exactly, but that was pretty wild to see. But yeah, man, you can't clean up the trash unless you get dirty, man. So I ain't mad, bro. I appreciate my team stinking and falling apart, man, because it's going to be an eye opener for the people upstairs, hopefully, to fix, clean the plumbing, man. You can't, toilet gotta get backed up for you plumbing, Cody. So I'm glad that we are on the right road of success of losing. But outside of my bum team, man, how you feeling, bro? How was your weekend of football and weekend in general?
My weekend of football was good. I gotta say, shout out to you. I had to pull a okey doke last week. I had to jump and dip out. Filled in, so y'all had a week without me. So I gotta say, first off, I appreciate you for getting through that. My weekend in football was great. I think as far as the NFL getting back to a point where I finally looked up and it was like multiple 400-yard passers, multiple 300-yard passers,
crazy
across the league. We're scoring points. I think that's a big thing. But the other side of the coin is, which I think we're going to talk about quite a bit today, and some interesting thought here is just the structure of some of these teams. And we talked about it a couple weeks ago with the number of teams that had 6+ wins and the number of teams that had 3 or fewer wins. The league is very much split into like, this might not make sense. I want to say split in halves, but it's more split in like thirds. Like you have an abundance of really, really, really shitty teams right now.
Yes.
So you have 11 teams with 3 or fewer losses. You have a couple with 4 and 5. You get the whole NFC West just sitting there with 5 wins outside of Arizona with a 6th. But you have a ton of teams, like the entire NFC playoffs right now outside of Arizona, Atlanta. So you have Minnesota, Green Bay, Washington, Philly, and Detroit, all 7 wins or better. And then the entire AFC side, 9, 9, 8, 7, 7, 7, 7, 6. It's very much teams know what they're doing, teams that have no clue what they're doing. And then you have teams that are just like trying to grind. And you know what teams those are, the ones that just aren't, they're just not, there's something missing. Is it the play caller? Is it a quarterback? Is it injury? Is it talent? Is it toughness? What is it? I think that's the most interesting tier in the league right now, is that middle tier of teams that just, they don't really know how to identify themselves. I think
Facts. And the biggest identity crisis right now is the NFC West, right? When you look at the Cardinals, you look at the Steelers, the Seahawks, when you look at the 49ers, the Rams. Honestly, bro, we could flip a coin right now and we still wouldn't guess who will win this division. Like literally, we thought we had a grip on the 49ers. Like they got hot. They was going to take over. We thought Seattle was on a winning streak. Then they lost 3 in a row, came back. They beat 49ers in the last play last week. So this division right now, honestly, nobody can bet on it. Nobody can figure it out. Even the coaches can't figure it out. So, I mean, usually the NFC is usually like that, bro. The AFC to me is always set in stone. We know the top 4 teams. And the NFC, man, it's a grinding division. I mean, conference. So you look at the Lions 9-1, Vikings 8-2, Packers 7-3, and even the Bears at 4-6. I mean, they could be 6-4 if they didn't have a Hail Mary pass on them, other random stuff going on. So other than the NFC South, bro, which is just a hot mess, man. Atlanta is going to win it, but they're not convincing of a team to pretty much make us scared of what they're going to do in the playoffs. I think we got a stronghold on who are the clear best teams, like you said, right? That top tier of teams where we know top 1, 2, 3 seeds locked in on each side of those sides.
The NFC South just feels like the G5 right now.
Yeah. If we could skip having a team in the playoffs from there, I will be all with it. Like if we could put, I would rather have the 49ers in there than the Atlanta Falcons, to be honest with you. Yep. I just know what the 49ers can do. So for them to not make the playoffs and the Falcons make it, it wouldn't, I wouldn't get excited.
It's a 0 for us. It's a nothing burger because you know that Atlanta Falcon team is not good. And we went into last weekend, people were like, oh, I think it was like they were 2-point dogs, I think, on the road in Denver last week. And everyone's like, oh, you're getting points with Atlanta. That's a good football team. And it's like, well, they're not that good. They're really talented for fantasy football. They score points. But Denver's in a weird spot. Like Denver also is sitting there right now at 6-5. Their schedule's really nice rest of season. And they got the Raiders, the Browns at home. They got the Colts at home, at the Chargers, at the Bengals, and then they finish with the Chiefs. There's a real path that they can win the next 5 games and be 11-5 going into that Chief game. Like that's real possibility for the Denver Broncos. And that's a team that's playing good defense. Their quarterback has gotten better every single week. Mm-hmm. They got a great head coach that knows how to call plays.
Yeah.
And that's a team. Atlanta ain't got a defense. You saw that yesterday.
Which they should have drafted Jerry Verse, man. That's all I'm saying. But go ahead. Continue.
No. Oh, we should have drafted. It's like, no, let's just draft our backup quarterback. Because even if you knew, like as a franchise, you knew this team this year is going to make the playoffs. You forecasted. This is part of like understanding. This is more NFL conversation than it is fantasy, and I get that. But even if you knew who you were, which is a massive part of just having success in the NFL, knowing who you are, knowing how your team stacks up against the NFL and against the rest of the league, and also winning your division. That's how teams draft. Teams draft to win their division and to beat their divisional foes.
Yeah.
If you are self-scouting good enough to say, our team is good enough to win the division this year. Fizz, this is so easy. Our team's good enough to win the division this year, so let's draft a quarterback for next year.
Yep.
What? Like, we burned him at the beginning, and we all love Michael Penix, but the idea is you're trying to win a championship. You just paid this guy over $100 million to come play quarterback, and you passed on a defender, and now you're at the waypoint of the season in week 12, and what is your biggest deficiency? Defense.
But this the problem though, bro, right? And I said this before the season. Raheem Morris is a good coach, but the problem is when they hire Raheem Morris, they got Kirk Cousins. They are going to be happy, and you just said what I've been saying. They're going to be happy with just being better than last year. That was the game plan. We're going to come in. If we win 9 or 10 games and make the playoffs, yes, it was a success, right? But then in 3 years, when you realize you done did the same thing on repeat for 3 years in a row, it was a waste of time. And my biggest fear for Michael Penix with this team is the offensive. If Michael Penix had, and it's always easy to say, because today we're going to praise some coaching, right? If Michael Penix had a OC that is going to really groom him and get him ready for this game, I believe they got a gem. But my biggest fear is that they got Kirk Cousins because they don't know if they're ready to groom and put him out there. So Kirk can kind of put a Band-Aid on the offense and just get us through some games. I don't think they even want to be a passing team because Raheem Morris isn't that type of guy. I mean, I know he came from the Rams and, he's been around a lot of offensive guys, but I believe this is a ground and pound team. That's what they got. Bijan Robinson, they got Algier. Kirk is just going to be there to not cause turnovers, not lose us the game. But for them to be throwing 40, 50 times, that's not their stilo. That's not their strategy. And I believe they came into this season, like you said, we're going to make the playoffs or win this division. But then when you look 3 years down the line and they got 10 wins and 0 playoff wins, it was all for what? It was all for what, man? So I'm with you, man. I think, again, today is about coaching, bro. We're going to break down some of these coaching situations and, try to see if we could right the ship. But I believe the Atlanta Falcons are just going to be a 9-9 or 9-10-8 team. I mean, it's 18, 9-7, 9-8. God damn, I can't even add it. Whatever it is, the schedule, how many games it is, they're going to be a middling team that's probably winning this division each year, but never show us any promise for the future. So I don't know about that NFC South, bro.
It's funny you said 9 because they're literally 6-5 going into a bye, and 3 of the games remaining pretty tough. Home against the Chargers, at Minnesota, at Washington, not in any order, and then the 3 easy games they got at the Raiders, home against the Giants, home against the Panthers. Like literally 9-8.
Yeah, man. So I mean, like I said, they should win this division. And to be honest, if if Mike Evans and Chris Godwin,
dog.
if Chris Godwin and Mike Evans weren't hurt, bro, we wouldn't be sitting here stamping them as the division winner because Baker was balling with those guys in the game. So we'll see what they do, man. But we ain't even holler at the people, man. I wanted to let them get through, man. Come through. We got finally got some eyes up in here, some ears, man. So let's shout out to the good people, man. Cold World in the building, man. Appreciate you, brother. Always in, tapping in. Todd Money, man. What's up, bro? Appreciate you, man. How you feeling this morning? T-Rock, he always in the kitchen, man. My boy MV Proof in the building, man. What's up, fellas? What's up with you, but how you feeling, man? Mr. Voorhees, man. Bro, your logo always got me funny. Always got me rolling, man. That's a tough logo, though. I like that. Rob, how you feeling, man? You said, do we take any questions? We try to, if you're talking about our show, we try to get through the show, bro. But if you got something, hey, if you want super chatters, we always answer those, brother. But we try to get through the show, man, and just try to, feed the people the information while we got the information, man. You know what I'm saying? So, but feel free to drop your question, though, brother. We can get at it. We will anytime, man. So appreciate you being here, though, Rob, for sure. But yeah, Cody, like I said, man, the standings right now are pretty wild, especially in this NFC. But let's just look at some games, man. We always break down a couple of the topics and a lot of the games. So that Thursday night game, man, Commanders versus the Eagles. I said this last week, and I think I'm gonna keep saying it. Not that the Commanders are a bad team, they just haven't played good teams and won those games, right? Now the Pittsburgh game, they could have won. They didn't get spanked. They could have won this game. Honestly, they only lost by 8 points. So it's not like they're getting beat down by good teams. But their schedule is kind of in favor because they had a bad season and coming into 2024. So I believe their schedule is going to get tougher. It's going to reflect what their season is this year in 2025. But I mean, Philly just handed it to them. It started off ugly, man. That first half, I believe we was on the VC. We always got our Savage tier. Me, Mike, Corey, DB. I mean, we in there at least 6-7 deep every Thursday night, man. Just voice chatting it up. Hey, Cody, I promise you, bro. The first half, Mike was playing NCAA. I was playing Call of Duty. Like, we on there just talking about everything but football, bro. It was this sack, fumble. It was a terrible display of football, man, in that first half. So what was your take on this game overall? We know Saquon Barkley is a dog, right? So that was like the alpha of this game. But without Saquon Barkley, bro, I don't think we have anything else to talk about in this game, man.
Yeah, not really, other than, Eckler kind of just falling back into this like mega receiver role, led the team in targets for Washington. You bring up Washington, they're like, yeah, they haven't really beaten some of these teams that they need to beat. But in this game, they made this thing ugly for a little bit. It was 10-6 going into the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
And then Jalen Hurts has that rushing touchdown. And then Barkley scores with 4 minutes and 58 seconds left in the third quarter. And they get the ball back, and the first play is a deep shot to Noah Brown.
Yeah.
Again, this should be your learning experience. Quit throwing the football to Noah Brown. If it ain't a Hail Mary, don't throw it to him. This is the let's call it the Jeff Janis corollary. Don't throw it to him unless it's a Hail Mary, Aaron Rodgers. Don't throw it to him unless it's a Hail Mary, Jaden Daniels. Anyway, it goes deep to Noah Brown. It's picked.
Yep.
Boom, just like that. 2 plays later, that's 14 points in a 20-second span. That's bang. 12-10 all the way to 26-10. And all of a sudden you're like, well, shit. Right? And they march back down. They score to finish it out with Zach Ertz. And those things can't happen. You got to play crisp, clean games, especially when you're not the most talented team, which Washington isn't. They have a very talented quarterback, but as far as the overall team goes on defense and on offense, there's some age there, and it lacks true talent, and you have to play above and beyond, and you can't have mistakes 100%. To do that. So, let's say they don't throw that pick, and it's 19-10, and they're marching down there, and they, instead of throwing that pick, they go ahead and score with 2 minutes left or 1.5, a minute 30 left in the game, and it's 19-17. Well, then it's a little bit closer, and chaos can happen. It's just a little bit different. That's why you just can't have those hiccups and those things. But I mean, these are the bumps that these teams are going to get through, like Washington. It's a team that we obviously talked a lot about early in the season because they started out 7-2. They've lost these last 2 against tough teams. Pittsburgh more tough than anything. Philadelphia more talented than anything. The rest of the season is going to be fine. Washington's going to make the playoffs. It's just this. I think this is a great learning experience. If they can get to the playoffs and play 1 or 2 games, it'll be a massive year 1 boost to Jaden Daniels and this whole Commanders organization.
Yeah, and honestly, bro, I've been saying it for a while, man. They've overachieved. Like you said, Noah Brown is their number 2 receiver, bro. Austin Eckler is, one of the oldest running backs in the game. Still productive, but he's not a guy that you're going to say you brought him in to change his franchise. So, to me, I say this every week, man. They cannot win another game, and it's okay. Like, they've won their season because they've overachieved and went beyond expectations. I just think when they play teams like the Eagles and Pittsburgh, and I looked at their schedule. I think 4 of the next 6 they played Dallas twice. They got I just had it the other day. Tennessee. Yeah, they got Tennessee in one of those games. I mean, they can win 3 or 4 more games, but I just want the. Go ahead. What you about to say?
No, I was going to say they can win them all. Like it's not that brutal.
They can.
They get Philly at home instead of on the road.
But the problem is, bro, when you see them win those games, a lot of people believe that makes them a better team. Like the record showed that they were so good. When in reality, this team really needs a lot of help. They're just winning those games. So it's okay to lose these games, bro. Like I keep saying this, you've overachieved enough, man. And to be honest, to go back to your statement about the first half, how they made it a game, I'm not even taking anything away from the Commanders, but Philly has been terrible in first halves, bro, all season. And that's my biggest problem with Philly. If they're going to solidify themselves as a championship team, you can't keep coming in the second half and putting up 30 points. But the first half, you 7-0 and you fighting back. Like that's how they started off last year, 10-1, scraping by, and then playoffs, we saw what happened. So for Philly's sake, man, hopefully they can get the ball rolling early, man, and then in the second half kind of turn it down, because without Saquon breaking long runs in the second half of games, bro, they wouldn't be winning some of these games they winning.
It's gonna be interesting to see when this Philly schedule gets a little tougher here, pretty much the next month. We talk about some teams having easy schedules to this point this year. I mean, Philly, since their bye, hasn't lost. They've been 6-0 since the bye, and they've scored 20. Well, they scored 20 against Cleveland, 26 or more in each of the last 5 games. But Cleveland at home, at the Giants, at the Bengals, home against Jacksonville, at the Dallas Cowboys, home against Washington. Not exactly, a gauntlet. But going forward, at the Rams, cross country, you come back, and that's in prime time on Sunday night. And then you have Baltimore on the road, tough environment. Carolina comes home. Then you have Pittsburgh at home. Then you have Washington again at Washington. I mean, the next, 4 of the next 5, not counting Carolina, 4 of the next 5 are pretty tough, I'd say. And, Philadelphia's at 8-2. They have a little insurance there. But I think this will be where we see really what Philadelphia is. I don't think we can take a ton from the last 6 weeks, really, from Philadelphia. Like you said, they haven't been the offense we expected or want to see.
Yeah, and before we move on for them, bro, those division games are always tough. And I'm not praising. I don't want the Cowboys to beat them, but I don't expect it to just be a a 30. I mean, it could be a 42-0 win, but it also can be a 22-18 for no reason because division games are always like that, bro. So Philly's schedule definitely doesn't look like they just going to sweep the rest of this schedule out. But move on from these bums, man. Let's move on to some other bums in the Colts, man. The Colts versus the Jets, bro. Aaron Rodgers, man. The boys done lost again. They lost by 1. A-Rich got benched. They said he was cooked. He was overcooked. And he come back against the Aaron Rodgers Jets or the Rodgers Jets and just shuts it down, man. He went off. He looked like the A-Rich that we wanted to see all season, right? He was physical. I just hate that he take those tough hits, man. A lot of those shoulder trucking touchdowns he was taking, man. I know it looked good on the outside, but my biggest fear is, bro, you just suffered so many injuries. Stop taking these hits. I know you a big guy. You probably could play linebacker, but he just got to figure out a way to kind of, I mean, you got to play football, right? So you can't go in and wince up. But, man, when he took that touchdown hit, he probably the one that laid the shoulder down and laid the hit. But I just don't want it for my quarterback if I'm the coach to take a hit like that. But overall, man, good game from the coach. Josh Downs. Is he the receiver 1 now? I mean, Michael Pittman came into the season as the receiver 1, but man, Josh Downs he getting down, bro. So what's your take, man, on the Colts and the Jets, and more so the Colts, less so the Jets, brother?
It's interesting to the Jets team doesn't make a ton of sense to me because I do respect their defense. A guy that I respect a lot, Michael Lombardi, does a pod, the GM Shuffle, and he always says, he goes, these guys think they're the 85 Bears. They're not, blah, 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 blah. I think it's a good defense, but for some reason they play up and they play down. And there's a pass rush there. There's a good run defense there. They got good DBs, but they play up and they play down. And the Richardson thing in this game, this is his first game since his debut against Jacksonville last year, where he had more than 20 pass attempts and he completed north of 60% of the passes. Since his debut, which would have been week 1 last year, right?
Yeah.
37 pass attempts in that game. 64%. Yesterday was 30 pass attempts, 66%, 272 yards, career high. I don't really know what to make of it. Like, they completely wrote this guy off. They said he's not going to play. They said they didn't say he's not going to play. They said Joe Flacco's our guy rest of season. And he comes in here against, I respected this Jets team. I watched predominantly most of this game. I had it on the 4 box. He ran. Yeah. I mean, the hits he was taking kind of made me wince. I was like, man, you got to chill out here.
Yeah,
but
man.
Like I said, I don't really know what to take from this game because the Jets have been playing so weird. Like the Colts defense is not great. And the Jets really didn't do a ton. Rodgers doesn't look right. He made a few throws. He had a check. I think it was like 2nd and 2 or 3rd and 2. He had a check. It was supposed to be a handoff to Brees, and he has such a great connection with Adams, who was in the slot on the left side, that he just like looked at him, and you could see it was supposed to be a carry based on how the offensive line was moving. He took the snap and just immediately just wham and hit him. And it's like he's got these like spurts of like, ooh, you can see it. But the rest of the game it's dink and dunk, throwing the ball to Brees Hall in the backfield for here and there. And that's where they made their hay, was really getting the ball to Brees Hall in the backfield, which I was like, this isn't how you this isn't how you win football games. And like, in college, I think you can get away with it. Like the Longhorns do it a lot. Quinn Ewers has like the shortest ADOT in all the college football right now, and they're winning games because of explosiveness in college.
You would know, right? You got that Longhorns shirt on.
Yeah, I'm not a Longhorn fan. I just work for Orange Bloods for those that
I got you.
I watch all their football. And that's the thing is like his ADOT is minute. It's like 4.7 on the season. It's literally the lowest in all of college football. And it's aggravating to watch because you're like, well, I know there's so much possibility downfield. And in college, you can win that way with explosive plays against obviously less competent teams, defenses, and younger players. In the NFL, you can't win that way. And that's kind of how the Jets are playing this game. And they got up in the third, fourth quarter, and it just kind of like didn't feel like it was going to stick, and it didn't stick.
No, it didn't. And honestly, bro, Breece Hall is the MVP of this team, man. Without Breece Hall, I don't know what this team would be. I mean, when you like you just said, they keep throwing it down, look like Quinn Ewers, right? Just dumping it down to Breece, and it's a touchdown. It's a big game. I mean, they had Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers and Garrett Wilson on this team, bro. Breece Hall is the MVP. Without him, they wouldn't have the 1 or 2 wins that they have.
Would they be so if you took one win off of the Jets, they'd be 2-9, which would tie them for Jacksonville for the worst record in football. There's a lot of two-win teams that are 2-8, 2-8, 2-8, 3-8, 3-8, 3-7.
Yeah,
but there's only one 2-9 team, and if the Jets had lost one game out of the 3 that they won, so they beat the Titans by 24-17. They beat the brakes off of the Patriots, and they beat the Houston Texans by 8. If they don't beat the Texans on that Thursday night football game that everyone thought I think everybody was confused in this country why or how they beat Houston. If they lose one of those 2 games, they're 2-9. They're the worst team in football.
Yeah, man. And honestly, even with those wins, bro, they look like one of the worst teams in football. Like, regardless of the standings, they look like one of the worst teams. I couldn't tell you that they could beat Jacksonville Jaguars right now. If you put Trevor Lawrence out there against them right now, I can't guarantee that the Jets gonna beat them, bro.
If you put Trevor out there, I think I might take Jacksonville. But if you put Mac out there,
not in the current, not Mac Jones. Nah.
I probably take the Jets down against Mac.
They can beat the McChicken Mac sauce for sure. But Trevor Lawrence, I don't know, man. They might got a fight on their hands, man. Yeah, man. I mean, we had some other solid games and better performances, right? We had Packers and the Bears. I mean, man, this Bears offense, bro. It's just. Is it an offense? Is it what is it, brother? I mean, I'm so confused. I mean, I know with this coaching change, it wasn't going to just all of a sudden be the greatest thing, right? But the Packers are balling, but they kind of skating through games too, man. And Jordan Love turned the ball over like he's been doing, interception after interception. I think a lot of teams are helping the Packers win some of these games too, bro. If you think about the turnovers Jordan Love is having game to game, they should be losing a lot of these games. That Houston game, Houston probably should have beat them. And the Bears maybe could have won this game if they had a competent offense and a competent game plan on offense. So I know, the Packers aren't your favorite team, but they're your favorite offense on this side of the town. So how you feeling about the Packers and this Bears right now?
I think the Packers are interesting. I've said it a lot earlier this year that I thought they had the most talented team from a roster perspective in football.
Yeah.
I might have to rescind that and just say it doesn't matter. Always Lions. The Lions are just the best in everything in the world at this point. But like you said, the Green Bay Packers kind of like they keep everything tight. And I don't know if I want to, credit that to Jordan Love, who didn't even have 20 pass attempts in this game. The lack of aggressive play calling or balanced play calling from LaFleur, but he did push the ball downfield a couple of times. Christian Watson finally. Of their 7 wins, these are all the one-score games. They beat the Bears by 1, the Jags by 3, the Texans by 2, the Rams by 5, and the Colts by 6. Those are all one-score wins. The Eagles, they lost by 5. The Vikings, they lost by 2. Those are one-score losses. Everything's tight with these guys. And then the Lions, they play them, I don't want to say as good as anybody has, but they've played them. They played them well. And that was at home. They got kind of dusted for the majority of it, but they kind of kept it reasonable as much as you can against the Lions. But I don't really like the Packers are in a weird spot. I don't think that this is a team that, we're going to talk about the hurdle rating tonight on the hurdle with Maddie at 8 p.m. and 8:30 p.m. Sorry. And the Packers are going to be one that I'm going to talk about more intensively because at the beginning of the year, I thought they were really going to challenge Detroit for this division, and I don't think that anymore. I think it's going to be more so the Vikings that maybe hold on and compete with the Lions. I don't think they're going to be able to dethrone them or anything because the Lions are the best team in football, but the Packers have been disappointing, I think, over the last month.
Yeah, I'm literally trying to look it up right now, bro. This has the same formula to me that the Eagles had last year, bro. When the Eagles last year started off 10-1, they were skating by in games. Like literally, I tried to look up the schedule for 2023. Is this year? It's preseason.
I got the Eagles one up if you want to hear it.
Yeah, if you look at those first 10 games, bro, it was like one possession games every game. I think I got it right here. Is this the same schedule where they played the Patriots week 1, right? 25-20.
Yep.
Okay, Patriots 25-20. The Vikings 38-24. The Bucks 25-11. Cool. Commanders, they won by 5. The Rams, they won by 9. Was that? No, my fault. Yeah, the Rams, they won by 9. The Jets, they lost to the Jets. They beat the Dolphins by double scores. Commanders, they won by 7. Cowboys, they won by 5. The Chiefs, they won by 4. The Bills, they won by 3. I mean, every time you look at this schedule, bro, for the first 10 games, 9, 11, they was winning by one possession games. And a lot of those, I remember that Buffalo game. When they beat Buffalo, it's because Josh Allen fumbled in the end zone on a safety, bro. It was like they were just winning games. But I don't think a lot of people paid attention to how they won those games. And this Packers team right now is reminding me of those 2023 Eagles where they're winning games. They win in those games, bro, but you can't sit here and tell me that when they go up against the Lions or one of those dog teams that would, give them the business and they got to fight back and keep up in the score, I can't guarantee you that they're going to win those games. So the Packers right now, bro, remind me of the 2023 Philadelphia Eagles. And it's just skating by, man.
It's a great call. 7-1 score wins, 1-1 loss, 1-1 score loss. Eerily similar. So that's a great call.
Yeah. I mean, because I called it.
The Packers, I mean, their schedules, it's not exactly easy. There's some potent teams there, especially if the Saints play, especially if Taysom Hill does what Taysom Hill does on a weekly basis going forward. But I mean, it's one that you could definitely see the floor fall out, and the Packers don't have the wins stacked up like the Eagles did last year. And the Eagles completely obviously fell apart. So you could see the Packers if they do something like the Eagles did last year, you could see the Packers miss the playoffs this year, which I didn't have on my bingo sheet.
Nah, for sure. But we didn't have the Vikings being who they were, so everybody is kind of, you know what I'm saying? They just pretty much replaced what we thought the Packers would be. But we ain't got to touch long on this game, man. But I did want to bring up the Rams offense, bro. The Rams offense just took off. If you were somebody like me who has Cooper Kupp and Puka on 80% of your teams, bro, you ate good. Man, hell of a game. Matt Stafford almost 300 yards, 4 touchdowns, and he only threw 27 times, which is not really a Matt Stafford game. Usually he in the 40s, but when you're playing the Patriots, you don't have to throw 40, 50 times a game. But everybody ate, man. Kyron Williams, 86 yards. Puka, 123 and a touchdown. Kupp, 106 and 2 touchdowns. And the crazy part is Puka got hurt, and we didn't know what the injury was. It was a diving catch. I thought maybe he got the wind knocked out of him because he landed on the ball. But he came right back in the game, man, and helped us out fantasy-wise and helped the Rams out, bro. So it's kind of weird to see those stat lines and see that they only won by 6 points, right? Because you would have thought, damn, the way they went off, they should have put up 40. You know what I'm saying? But those New England games, bro, they always a myth, right? The stats never match up with the score because New England is a tough team. But shout out to Drake May, man. Drake May didn't lay down. Even though Stafford went out there and did what he did with his offense, Drake May doesn't have a Puka Nacua or a Cooper Kupp. And he went out there through 30 for 40, 282, 2 touchdowns. Ramondre Stevenson, I was about to say Raheem Morris. Ramondre Stevenson, 73 rushing yards. Kendrick Bourne, 70 yards receiving, touchdown. Hunter Henry, 6 catches, 63. So he kind of spread the ball a little bit more in his offense because he doesn't have a couple Puka. But, man, Drake May is looking more efficient every week. And I think playing a team like the Rams helped him look more efficient because when you're playing against Matt Stafford, bro, you can't go out there throwing 15 times and think you're going to win the game. So, I think the Patriots got their guy, man. I think Drake May's the real deal. He just has to get a Cooper Cup or a Puka Nacua. Like, he has to get a 1. Once he get that 1, hey man, the sky's the limit for New England, man.
I think this is a two thoughts here. One, I talked to Maddie about this a couple weeks ago, and he's like, man, I just want top 5 pick or number 1 pick, and we can trade back and we can get a tackle, and then T. Higgins. And T. Higgins, I've loved everything I've seen from T. Higgins when he's been healthy this year.
100%.
He was maniacal on Sunday night. But the biggest takeaway from this whole game, despite the Rams kind of bouncing back and Puka and Cup looking fantastic and Stafford looking fantastic and the running game being there, it has to be Drake May. It has to be the kid, because the kid is giving life to New England right now. He's giving life to them. He's getting better week by week. His passer rating is getting better week by week. He's losing close games. That game against Tennessee could have went either way in overtime. They beat the Bears. This game felt like the Rams had a chance to, slap it on the hip, roll them over, and no Vaseline. And it didn't happen. Right? Drake May was like, "Nah, man, we're not done. We're not just going to back down. You're not just going to roll us over. You're not just going to dip it in. Like, we're fighting back in this game." And they made it, respectable. They didn't cover, but they made it respectable, and it showed that there was life there. And it showed, like, when you think of the Cowboys and you think of the Patriots, and I'm gonna make a triangle here, right? So the triangle is going to be the Cowboys and the Patriots. And the Cowboys feel like there's no support for your coach. There's no drive. There's no heart. There's no team camaraderie. There's no team there, right?
Yep.
The Patriots, it's like, we found our quarterback. We're fighting. We're not good. We're not talented. We're not there. And right here at the top of that triangle is another college analogy, which is the Florida Gators. The Florida Gators absolutely sucked the first month of the season. And everyone's like, this coach is gone. This team's going to blow up. The recruits are gone, blah, 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 blah. And a month later, all of a sudden, the coach gets a positive note from the AD. All the team, all the players are like, "No, man, we're fighting for this dude. We're beating some teams. We're beating ranked LSU. We're beating these teams. We're fighting. We're going to be back next year. We're coming."
Exactly.
It's a whole different mindset.
Yeah.
When you have that top piece, and that top piece for Florida is the coach and the quarterback and Lagway. For New England, it's Drake May and the belief, and for Dallas, it's nothing. They have nothing. Like, well, we got Parsons and Diggs, but I'm sorry, and Lamb, you're not winning games with just a Parsons, Diggs, and Lamb. And I didn't say Dak's name for a reason, but it's weird to see the dynamic there, and I have more trust and more long-term belief in the Patriots than I do the Cowboys right now.
I'm gonna be honest, Cody, and that's why I say coaching, bro. That locker room is the reason why. Like you just said, the locker room, they believe they can go out there right now and lose the rest of the season, but they're not going to lose by 30 points a game. They're not going to get smacked in the mouth every week that they like, man, I hate coming to work. I know I'm getting paid $80 million a game, but I don't want to be here. They don't have that energy on that team. The Cowboys don't have that energy because they don't believe in the guy over top of them, bro. That's always been my thing. That's always going to be my thing. So shout out to Drake May, though, man. And I do believe that he is where he's supposed to be. I know that Commanders Drake May thing was I guess a topic during the summer, but I believe J-Day is where he is supposed to be, and Drake May is exactly where he's supposed to be, bro. If he would have flipped the scripts, I'm not saying that neither one wouldn't have success, but the stars align and they are exactly where they're supposed to be, man. So I'm glad it worked that way, because a lot of times it usually doesn't in this league. So shout out to Drake May, though. He definitely deserved his flowers today, bro. And moving on, man, a tough game. We both knew that it wasn't going to be a statistical game whatsoever. The Ravens and the Steelers, man. The Ravens and the Steelers look like the Ravens and the Steelers, bro. I don't know what it is with Lamar Jackson, but I think he's like 1-9 or something against the Steelers. And when you think about 1-9 against the Steelers, we're not talking about a Steelers team that had Ben Roethlisberger, bro. We're talking about Mason Rudolph and Kenny Pickett's. Lamar Jackson, he's literally playing Mike Tomlin, because Mike Tomlin has been there the whole time, regardless of what everybody else, all the tools and the pieces. Mike Tomlin versus Lamar Jackson is what the record should be, because he got his number, man. And I believe Baltimore probably should have won this game, and it looked like they could have won the game, but First play, first drive, Derrick Henry fumbled the ball. That lets you know the tone of the game right there. Like, it ain't about to be easy. And even though Russ didn't do much, I knew this was a Justin Fields game. I really wish they could have like swapped quarterbacks, because I don't think that Fields was going to throw the ball much anyway. I just think they needed a ground and pound. They used Fields to get like 2 first downs late in the game. But I believe if they would have had that script more often through the game, they might have won by more than 2. It could have been a 6 or 8 point win. But regardless, they got the win. Lamar just looked fluttered and frustrated. But this came down to Justin Tucker, man. I mean, the guy missed 2-3 field goals. He was bricking from 3 the whole night, man. It's just the Steelers. I don't know what it is, bro. They got some magic juju on them, man. I don't know what it is, but my dog don't like the Steelers either. So shout out to the Steelers and the Ravens. I'm gonna let you holler at the Peoples, man. Let me get this dog together.
No, it's interesting because we saw it last week with Pitt against Washington, and the way that the Steelers kind of dealt with the way they dealt with Jaden Daniels. And the question came out, it was like, well, what's the theory here? Is a theory that that's the book on beating Jaden Daniels because the Steelers did it and it was a tight game. It was a 1-point win. And I'm just sitting here wondering, I'm like, man, well, it was extremely inefficient. Maybe his worst career game to this point. There's not a lot of rushing there for Jaden Daniels. And the Steelers ran and kind of commanded and owned that game. Then they go the next week and they get Baltimore. And I'm thinking back and I'm like, well, that made way too much sense, because as similar as Lamar and Jaden are, they're a little different in the passing perspective. But from a rushing perspective, they're similar. And Tomlin's been dealing with Lamar for 6 years now. So it's like, well, that made way too much sense that would be a little bit of a similar push-pull, similar game plan, similar plan of attack here. I'm just extremely impressed, one, with the Steelers. Tomlin will forever be probably my favorite coach. I love Jim. Jesus criminy. I love John Gruden. But I've liked Mike Tomlin since he was the defensive coordinator for the Vikings, 20 years ago. I wish the Vikings would have gotten him as their coach, and they let him out the building, and he went to Pittsburgh, and the rest is history, as they say.
Sir.
They got 2 losses this year, back-to-back, week 4 and 5. They now look like putrid losses, but they're both field goal losses with Justin Fields at the quarterback position. This is a different football team. This is a team that's, this week they didn't score points, but they're scoring points on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
I think they probably bounce back and probably put 30 on Cleveland this week in Cleveland. I will say one thing I'm going to correct you on is that Justin Fields didn't have 2 rushing first downs. He had 1, and he had another one that
he failed too early, right? Yeah, I remember that. I watched that play.
I was like, brother, when you
he could have just lunged forward. See, I think, bro, him being benched, he's so nervous to make a mistake now. He's not playing the way he want to play. Because Justin Fields, the regular Justin Fields, he would have just kept running. He wasn't even that slid. He would have just kept running.
He would have just tried to house that damn thing.
Bro, he would have dipped his shoulder and just said, man, F it, I'm gone. So he playing scared, man. But
that's a good point, because I was like, man, he ran that thing and he popped it up and he goes, Hwah! And I was like, whoa. That ain't a first. You're literally still standing behind the first.
He playing scared, bro. If that was his job and he knew it, he would have kept running. He wouldn't even have thought of the slide. But
I think it's cool that they utilize him. Like I even knew before the year when I went up there for training camp, and another week of entering the word training camp into this show. But Russ was the clear quarterback in the preseason before the injury stuff during training camp. And Fields, they had this just sick, we haven't seen it yet. They had this sick red zone package, like I said, of Fields at quarterback, Cordero flanking him left, and Najee flanking him right. And I think I'm just excited. I want to see this thing. I want to see this goal line, not goal line, but like red zone package implemented. And I think it's a cool idea to still utilize Fields, and Cordero, utilize Cordero, utilize these guys out of the backfield as kind of a 3-headed monster. So they got a tough schedule coming up though in December. So they got to keep fighting. I think Pittsburgh's in a fine spot. I don't think I'm ready to say Super Bowl contender or anything like that. I think they can contend for the AFC Championship to get there, but I don't think they're quite on the level of Buffalo and Kansas City right now.
Yeah, nah, they're not there yet, man. But the Steelers are, man, they running in the North right now, bro. They I I know the Ravens is still my team, man. I'm still gonna ride with them, man, for the long haul. But they just gotta win games like these, right? And again, this is the Ravens and Steelers game, so it's not like they stunk up and they was just trash. It's just Justin Tucker missing those field goals. You're not gonna win games like that, bro. So, Ravens and Steelers, man, they do what they usually do, and I think they got another game coming up soon. So, this won't be the last we see of them. But Seattle and the 49ers, man, we got to give it to Geno. Geno held it down. That last play to win the game, he even hit the Steph Curry night celebration and everything, man. 49ers, man. I don't know, brother. I don't know, man. We thought Ricky Pearsall, this was going to be one of his games. Like after having a positive week last week, Debo looks, man, non-existent. I don't know if it's the booty shorts he wearing it to the game. I don't know, brother. No George Kittle. I'm pretty sure that was a big thing. Like that hurt the team a lot. This team is just rotating in injuries. That's what the 49ers usually do. But I want to shout out Geno, man. Geno, he did his thing, man. He's given us a consistent JSN stat line now, like something that we can look forward to. I'm not saying it's going to be 110 yards every week, but to see him get 10 receptions, that's a hell of a game for JSN. We've been waiting for this, right? DK Metcalf, 7 for 70. So it seems like JSN is starting to get that alpha metal on his shoulder, man, and hopefully he can keep it going. But overall, man, what's your take on the 49ers and Seattle? More so Seattle, because the 49ers are just looking like, whatever.
Mid-City, Utah. McCaffrey got back. I mean, McCaffrey started to take a little more carries. I think that'll only continue to grow. We'll see what that looks like. We know that can be a game changer when this offense gets going, if McCaffrey gets going. But yeah, I think the biggest thing and my only thing I'm going to say here about the Seattle game is Jackson Smith and Jigba. I talked about it on a radio show on SiriusXM this weekend about I ranked DK Metcalf like 3 or 4 spots ahead of Jackson Smith and Jigba this last week in weekly rankings. And I openly called myself a coward because I in my heart, in my head, I'm like, man, Jackson, he's the guy. He's here. It's time. But
yeah,
in my gut, I'm like, man, it's still DK. And haven't quite seen it yet from Jackson. And I just told myself, I said, one more week. I said, if we get one more week, then I'll sign it. And I'll tell you what.
You got it, baby. You got it.
I'm signing it. Jackson, Smith, Njigba, wide receiver 1. That it's just what it is. I mean, you don't need me to tell you that the 10 plus targets and doing what he's doing.
Yeah.
The connection's clear. The focus of the offense is clear. They are running Metcalf on some more interesting routes than they really haven't in prior years. But I mean, we saw what this role is within Jigba with Roma Dunze last year and with Jalen McMillan the year before in Ryan Grubb's offense at Washington. So we got to take it for what it is and believe it and ride with it with our top 10 Dynasty wide receiver and Jackson Smith and Jigba.
I like that, brother. I like that, man. Sprinkling in some of that Dynasty talk in there. I like that. Yeah, I'm with you though, man. JSN, man, he's alive. He's here. He's arrived, right? So next week they have the Cardinals. Should be a shootout game, division game. Hopefully we can get some Marvin Harrison, JSN battle back and forth. That's a division game. I mean, Seattle needs this win, man, and more than anything. So yeah, let's pray for a shootout in that game, man. So we don't need to talk about the other bums on this other side of the team, but man, Bo Nix, brother. I just gotta give Bo a little bit of flowers, man. Bo and Sean Payton are a thing now. He's found his new Drew Brees. Cortland Sutton is the guy that we all passed on in every draft we could because we just thought he wasn't going to be relevant. They get rid of Jerry Jeudy. We thought, hey, this team is just pretty much done, right? And even last year when Russ was there, they sat Russ. I mean, we thought they almost became a playoff team at some point when they sat Russ, but they said, nah, we good. We just going, fold. But Bo Nix, man, I think he's leading all the rookie quarterbacks in touchdowns right now. He looks like, I mean, I know J-Day is the guy. We talk about him so much for the rookie of the year, man, but Bo, like, hold up, man. Don't forget about me now. I'm down here in Denver or up here in Denver, and sky's the limit out here, man. This team, just like the Commanders, right? We thought the Commanders were the team coming into the season, pretty much playing just a regular season, going to get through the motions, 6-7 wins at max. And the Broncos, I didn't see any better, right? 5 or 6 wins maybe in this division. And when you look at the Chargers and the Chiefs in this division, bro, Broncos right there with them, man. And I'm pretty sure their schedule, I ain't looking at it right now, but I'm pretty sure their schedule isn't gonna get any harder. They got the Raiders next week. Give us your take on Bo, man, and these Broncos, bro, because they coming through for us, man.
The schedule is nicey, as John Gruden would say. That's nice.
Oh, yeah.
They got the Raiders this week, like you said, back home for the Browns, a bye, back home for the Colts before Christmas. Christmas, a couple days before Christmas, they got the Chargers on the road, the Bengals, and then they got the Chiefs game in week 18. But if the Chiefs are 14-1 or 15-1 going into that game, I gotta believe. I don't know how much they play, and they just played them to a 16-14. The Broncos could be fighting and clawing to get to 10 or 11 wins with that one and making the playoffs. And I tell you what, man, you said it a minute ago. You said, Washington's played above what they kind of believed they would.
Yeah.
And they could win, you said hypothetically they could lose out and this would still be success. If they lost out, if they went 3-3 rest of the way and they went 10-7 or 9-8, that does open the door for Bo Nix here. If Bo Nix wins 11 games with this Broncos team and they make the playoffs, I think that does open the door for Bo Nix. As far as fantasy football goes, dude, this guy's been an absolute weapon on a season base. Since week 5, quarterback 8, quarterback 9, quarterback 16, quarterback 2, 14, 12, and 3. If you're able to pick this guy up at some point back then and play him over to Rodgers's, play him over the when Godwin and Evans went down, play him in place of Baker, and just continue to play him ahead of Patrick Mahomes on a weekly basis. You're making you're printing cash. I mean, Bo Nix has been lethal from fantasy football perspective.
Yeah, man. And a lot of people, especially in those rookie drafts, there's a lot of drafts. I mean, we draft before the actual NFL draft. So we drafting blind, right? And I got Bo in the second round in some leagues because, a lot of people didn't think he was going to get in the first round. We didn't know where he was going. But I believe, man, Sean Payton is the key to Bo. I believe if Bo was with the Patriots or somebody else, I'm not going to knock him. I still believe Drake May is the better QB. But I think Bo is where he's supposed to be. If I had to rate this QB class, man, I want to say they everybody is where they're supposed to be. Literally, I think Bo in Denver, Drake in New England, and J-Day in Washington, man, they are where they supposed to be right now.
Bo, 1 second before Jose Rodriguez, appreciate the super chat.
Yeah, appreciate you, brother.
Before we get off of Bo next, Bo or Joe Burrow in Dynasty?
Damn, that's a tough one. I had him over Justin Herbert. I had him over Justin Herbert. I had him at like a 10, right?
That's what I got him.
I had him at like a 10. But it's Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow to me is still top 10, right? Oh, he done fell out.
I made him fall out just last week. I put Bo up at 10, Burrow's at 11, but they're literally back to back.
I'm gonna say this: Joe Burrow has been balling out of his mind too, but a lot of that has been because they're losing games. Like if you look at the T. Higgins stat line, that was because they was losing like 26-0 or 26. They was losing that whole game. So a lot of these stat lines, bro, that we see in fantasy, when you say, man, this player went off, that's because, bro, they had no choice. They had to throw 40, 50 times to catch up in the game. So I don't know if I'm there with Bo yet, man. I'm going to put a little bit of respect on Joe Burrow's name, man. Just a little bit of respect, man. I will put Joe in front of Bo. But I ain't mad at you if that's how you feeling, though. I think I'm going to just say this. Jamar Chase over Courtland Sutton.
Facts.
That's all I'm going to say. Jamar Chase can give me 166 and 3 touchdowns. I think I'm going to roll with Joe Burrow.
I'll take that.
All right. Cool. Jose, man, we appreciate you, brother. He said 2 receiver, 1 flex. Mike Evans, Puka, AJ, McLaurin, Lamb. Help. Damn, hell of a team, brother. Is that for this week? I'm guessing that's for this week. This week coming up. Puka for sure. I'm gonna say Puka and who? AJ plays who? AJ play the Rams and McLaurin plays Cowboys. I'm gonna say Puka and AJ for me, brother. Who you got, Cody?
Puka and AJ.
Oh, he said 2 receivers and 1 flex. So basically,
and McLaurin then.
Yeah. Puka, AJ, and McLaurin, bro. I do believe Lamb will be peppered with targets, but I can't guarantee what those targets are going to go. They might be on the roof, outside, on the floor. Who knows? Actually, that game is here next week, and I got invited to that game, but I definitely denied it. And that was like a month ago when Dak was available. So I said, "Oh, no, I'm good. I'm gonna just chill, man, and enjoy my day at home." So I can't support the team I want to lose, Cody. You know what I'm saying? I want them to lose. So if I go there and they win, they're gonna piss me off. So I'd rather stay home and pray on them to lose. But yeah, brother, Puka, AJ, and McLaurin sound like the lineup for me, man. Yeah, man. But we appreciate you also, Jose, man, for the super chat, bro. I guess we can get down to it, Cody, man. We're gonna break these last two down and we're gonna move on. But the Chiefs and the Bills, man. Chiefs lost their first game. Josh Allen looks like that dude, and he even woke Curtis Samuel up, right? We thought Curtis Samuel, man, I didn't even know where he was the whole season, man. And Curtis Samuel went out there and did something. So this looked like a typical Chiefs game. They don't go out there and blow teams out these days like they used to. So I don't think it's no fault on the Chiefs. I just think, to me, the Buffalo Bills just won the game. The Chiefs look like the Chiefs to me. They didn't look bad. Pat had a turnover or two. Josh Allen and them weren't the greatest. That's why James Cook, came in, but he only had 2 touchdowns for 20 yards rushing. So it wasn't the most efficient game on either side of the ball. It's just somebody had to win, and it looked like Buffalo wanted to win more to me. But I don't take anything from the Chiefs with this loss other than they just lost to Buffalo.
It's not that big of a deal. I think the question was posed to both teams earlier last week, like, how big is this game? How important is this game? Yeah, it's an important game because it's the 2 best teams in the AFC right now, record-wise.
Yeah.
But, like, even if you look at the Kansas City Chiefs schedule rest of season, Carolina, Las Vegas, Cleveland, Houston, Chargers, Pitt, Denver. They probably, if they lose a game, they lose a game of that stretch.
Yeah.
We assume. And then that gives them 2 losses on the year. Buffalo already has 2 losses, obviously, Ravens and Texans. They got a couple, they got the Niners and Rams and Lions. Probably going to lose a game out of those 3, I would bet. 2 of them are on the road, Rams and Lions. It doesn't really matter in the grand scheme unless Buffalo runs the table and Chiefs drop a couple. And there's a tiebreaker there to get that home field advantage, because the fact of the matter is this game is probably going to happen either in the divisional championship or in the AFC championship.
Yeah.
And the record in season for Buffalo against the Chiefs, I think the Buffalo has won. I don't even want to quote this. My screen's been freezing out, so I'm not going to look it up. But I think the Bills have now won 3 or 4 in a row in the regular season against the Chiefs, and the Chiefs have obviously dominated the postseason share of that, which is what matters. So
yeah,
I don't take too much away from this game, other than I think the Chiefs are still a little undermanned as far as talent goes.
Yeah.
Kelsey obviously was a 0 in this game, essentially, which I don't think will happen in the playoffs.
This team is a play. Cody, to me, bro, the Chiefs, I don't think home field advantage matters to the Chiefs. I think it matters to the Bills. When this team, the Chiefs, get in the playoffs, bro, they can win anywhere, in any circumstances, anytime. Yeah. So I think the biggest difference between this team or both teams, to me, when it comes to this playoff matchup, if it happens, is injuries. Who's the healthiest? Right. Yeah. Outside of that, bro, it's going to be a hell of a game on both sides of the ball to me, man.
I think you're right there. I think it would give the Bills a titch of momentum and spite if the AFC championship was in Buffalo, but I get your point in totality. Like this Chiefs team can win anywhere. They also get Pacheco back in, either next week or the following week or whenever they get him back. Kelsey, I still think they're trying to slow roll him as much as possible. The whole season, and it's why you saw some Noah Gray targets out there, a couple touchdowns this week. I don't really got a big takeaway from this game. Like I said, I think it's kind of a game that was a big game, but really, I don't really know how big it was for either of these teams.
Yeah,
also, Mahomes making a couple just brain dead throws in this.
He did. I mean, but that's what Mahomes do sometimes, bro. But I like he does this now. Like, just do it. Just try some stuff, man. Get it out the way. Get it out your blood. Get it out your system, man. Playoff time. We gonna turn up, baby. So I don't mind nothing the Chiefs do in the regular season, bro. I lock them in. Other than injuries, I lock them in every year for a playoff spot, bro. So, I see Rob right here. I'm gonna tap in with Rob. He said, what does South Harmon videos look like during the off season? Like the topics, what do you cover? So, Rob, I'm not sure how long you've been around or you've been following us, but this season right here, we didn't try some stuff. Like me and Cody got to cook up. This something new, right? We got a morning show now. This all season, brother. All I can say is just stay locked in with us, man. We got some stuff coming up. You know what I'm saying? The off season isn't here yet, so hopefully you stick with us through the regular season, and then when that off season come, man, you stick around, bro. We got some things coming, bro. So I can't tell you what the off season gonna look like because we not there yet, but just know it's gonna be popping, baby. That's all that matters. You know what I'm saying? So stick around, stay kicking with us. We appreciate you tapping in, man. But I guess to close out this week, though, Cody, Bengals and Chargers. I'm going to just say this about the game. The Bengals are a lost cause right now. It looks like they don't believe in the coaching, right? Because Jamar Chase in the locker room said what he said about, ask the coach. He called the plays, and we pay the kicker to make those kicks.
Dude, McPherson, let's just be honest. Sorry if the kids are listening. McPherson fucked this team.
Yeah, man. Hey, I mean, but Cody, again, that's a locker room thing, bro. And I'm not saying McPherson missing the kick is a locker room thing, but sometimes the locker room carries into the field, and then it happens to the players, and the play just dramatically changes. And I'm gonna also give some shout out to the Chargers, man. Jim Harbaugh he's that dude, man. He's that dude. No matter where he goes, he is the ultimate coach. The players love him. They do anything for him. Nobody saw this Chargers team being what they are right now, bro. Nobody. Yeah. Like, you couldn't tell me that. Them coming in with this run-first offense. We all downgraded Herbert, saying he ain't going to throw the ball but 10 times a game. And it doesn't matter. J.K. Dobbins has brought back to life. Gus, this team, bro, coming into this season, you could not tell me that they will win more than 6 games, maybe 7. And right now, man, we got the Broncos and the Chargers is looking like playoff teams, man. What the hell going on out here, Cody?
Lad McConkey, that's what's going on.
Oh, yeah, Lad, man.
He's a skater, man. He's I got to see that pro day in person
he's a routician, right?
Route, literally, man.
Yeah,
great word. And that's what it was. And it was pretty clear. I mean, if you watched Georgia last year, you knew what he was.
For sure.
And him and Brock Bowers working together. But did I think that he would have, quite this output at this level this early? No. But in this offense, it works. They do need to do one thing, and that's quit force-feeding the football to Quentin Johnston. He's good for his role, but his role needs to be 4 or 5 targets a game, not 8, 9 targets a game.
Yeah, bro, but he seems to get wide open so much. I don't know how he's so open, bro. Like,
well, if you go get him the football, but it's like you miss him.
No, you do. Because a lot of those passes are either overthrown, underthrown, or just like bad coverage, and just like, what are you doing? But a lot of those touchdowns, bro, if you go look at those plays, it's like, man, who is around this dude? He's wide open. Like the defense not even respecting him enough to cover him. What the hell was going on out here? So
that's what you know, man. That's why he was so successful at TCU. I think that's an element that if they can unlock it, it's great. Will Dissler's playing great. McConkey's playing great. That run from JK in the fourth quarter was, I don't think that they tried to let him score, but it was a nasty run.
Yeah, man. I miss JK in Baltimore, man. That's my dog, man. I love me some JK and Cam Akers, bro. That was my 2 dogs right there. I love them dudes, man.
Speaking of Cam Akers gotten paid dirt this weekend, but
for sure.
J.K. Dobbins, I think he's got to be closing in on a rack as far as all-purpose yards. So he's got 726 rushing yards, averaging 4.8 per clip.
In this offense, he's going to get that.
Where's his receiving total at? 115. So he's at 841 on the year.
Yeah,
That's going to be so exciting when he gets to. He hasn't been to a rack in his career, dude.
And he got a 1-year deal, right?
He's still 26, man. He's got some. Look at Joe Mixon. I mean, look at Joe Mixon last night. That dude looked like he literally found the fountain of youth.
Hey, listen, man. He definitely did. I don't know. He's sipping. I don't know what he's sipping on in Texas, man. But he double cupping for sure because Joe Mixon is back.
Down there working out with AP or something.
I'm trying to tell you, man. He down there with Mike Jones. I don't know, man, but he doing his thing in Texas. That's for damn sure, bro. Yeah, man, Cody, man. That week 11, man. We got a hell of a week, bro. Hopefully the schedule gets better. This week was a hell of a week for fantasy, bro. I done had teams with, like I said, if you had Puka and Cup on the same team, that was like 60-something points. I went up against a team that had Jared Goff and Matt Stafford, bro. Like they put up almost 100 points by themselves as two quarterbacks together. So fantasy-wise, bro, it looked like we at that time of the year where the offenses are time, they picking up. It's time to take off. The only problem is it's about to start getting cold outside. So I don't know how much of this passing game we're going to have. But for right now, man, it's looking good for us in the fantasy playoffs kicking off in about 3 weeks. So, hey, somebody going to have to figure it out, man. We're gonna get us some playoff fantasy talk up soon. But we got to get to these scores, though, Cody, man. It's overcooked, undercooked. And your boy got cooked, man. I know Mike McNutty was going to post it, and I damn sure was like, he snuck this one in on me, man. But Mike, I'm gonna show you some love on this one, brother. We're gonna go ahead and get it cracking. Where we at, man? I'm gonna put mine up first, Cody. I'm gonna get it out the way. This is a shellacking right here, man. So go ahead and say what you gonna say. Bro, this is the IDP league, right?
Holy
I'm talking about,
dog.
Bro, this man, Mike, I want to turn the music on this one. Mike got the scoring so crazy. You know that Philadelphia and the Commanders game? He had Louvu,
Frank.
Bro, Louvu had like 78 points, bro. Like, this scoring is crazy, man. So just know if you got a defensive player to get 2 sacks and an interception, you probably got 100 points. But anyway, he put the belt the ass on me, man, and it was what it was. And he had Joe Mixon last night that made it even worse, man. So shout out to my boy McNutty with this crazy ass scoring he got going on. But he gave me the business, man. Next team, man. Next team. Mike, he back up here, man. Okay. All right. This is regular scoring, I guess, right? Look like he got Joe Mixon early with him, Cody. He doing this thing with Joe. So shout out Mike on this one. I think I got the worst loss so far, 300-something points. I think nobody's gonna top that.
I don't even know how we grade that. How do we grade that?
No, we don't. We don't. We grade it as the McNutty scores, bro. Mike does whatever the hell he want to do.
I think that's like the equivalent of like 100-point beating in like a normal league.
Bro, I'm telling you, cornerbacks can get you 80 points every week. It's crazy now.
Nonsense. They don't even get targeted enough to do that.
It's crazy, brother. Listen, we gonna break this down another time, bro. But Mike got another one, man. He up here, 225, 220-ish. He doing this thing, 229.
Some more Fugazi scoring going on here or what?
What else we got? Oh, Mike again. God damn. Okay. All right. He ain't in the hundreds with this one, but almost through it. Mike clearly is number 2 on this team. He's winning every league, right? So if you need some money, holler at Mike, because he cleaning up this year, man.
I will tell you what I do love is I do love a good tapioca pudding.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna tell you right now.
You like tapioca pudding?
I don't think I ever had it, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me. That you ain't had the little. You go in there, you get that pudding in the pudding aisle, and it's got the little bubbles, the little not what they call the drinks these days with the
yeah.
It ain't that though. It's tiny pieces of that.
Nah, I never had it, bro. I'm gonna go look for that.
Yeah,
I'm gonna look for that. I'm gonna check that out this week, man. But shout out to the tapioca pudding, Mike. You letting us know what's popping on with that one. At least you winning eating it. So if he winning and he eating it, I gotta get down with it. Who else we got? Pineapples go on pizza. They don't, but he's still drinking bleach and he's always here every week. So shout out my boy drinking bleach, man. He doing this thing, man. The struggle bus is struggling, man. Shane Joe, get it together. Man, I don't know what you got going on, but you're struggling, brother. Drinking bleach again, man. He winning every week, bro. Number 4 in this league. So is that the Adams family? I like that. Is that Devonta Adams on that thing? That's a fire image right there, bro. Shout out to you for that one. I had to get 2 of mine in, Cody. This ain't the biggest win, but this is one of my Puka and Cup scores. Your boy did his thing this week, man. But look, the guy right here, Uptown, my boy Uptown, bro. He had Jared Goff and Matt Stafford and he lost to me. So unfortunately, man, it
beat
didn't
him?
work.
Who'd
I
you
beat
have?
him, bro. I had Tyreek Hill, Puka Nacua, Cooper Kupp, Bijan Robinson, Brees Hall. It wasn't looking good, brother. But he did his thing, and he tried to keep up with me, man. And to close it out, my boy Mr. Voorhees, actually he came back because last night, bro, I was up by 100 something on him. So he actually came back with Joe Mixon, man. So shout out to my boy Voorhees, but another Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua team, brother. So shout out to the people, man. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to everybody at the Patreon, man. Everybody is overcooked. I got super duper cooked from Mike with this 300-point shellacking he put on me, but that's a crazy scoring right there, Cody. You don't want to know about that league at all, bro. But yeah, man, the meat and potatoes of the show before we get up out of here, man. I really wanted to talk about a little bit of coaching. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure you can bring it up. What's the coach of the year looking like right now, Cody? I know I ain't tell you that earlier, but the coach of the year standings. I know Dan Campbell isn't coach of the year, but I think he got to be up there, bro, because this Lions team is just playing on another level, man. I know they like to give it the teams that were struggling and coaches came up, but
it's got to be Mike T, don't it?
Oh, him too. That's what I'm saying, man. I mean, can we get co-coaches of the year?
FanDuel awards.
Can we get some co-coaching of the year, man?
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah, I think multiple coaches deserve it this year, bro.
All right, so AP NFL regular season coach of the year 2024-2025. Here are the odds. According to FanDuel, Mike Tomlin plus 300, Dan Campbell plus 400, Jim Harbaugh plus 500, Jonathan Gannon plus 650, Kevin O'Connell plus 650, Dan Quinn plus 850, and Sean Payton plus 1,400. That's kind of a low-key one, too.
I mean, I would say Mike Tomlin and Dan, bro. They got their teams where they supposed to be. And I know a lot of people going to knock Dan because the Lions are a good roster. But, bro, listen, I don't think we'll ever see another demise in Detroit again, right? I think Dan Campbell has came in and set the tone for the future of this franchise where, I mean, honestly, we can get straight to it, man. I pulled them up, Dan Campbell and Ben Johnson, right? When you look at what they're doing with this team, and I said this, and people going to knock me for it. The Lions remind me of what the Cowboys were supposed to be when they drafted Dak and Zeke. The O-line, Dallas stacked that. The defense, Dallas built on that. But they never had a Dan Campbell and a Ben Johnson. Now, we had Kellen Moore around. We had some OC play, so I'm not going to totally discount the offensive calling that we had. But when you look at how the Cowboys built that team, it was straight up front. We all know the Cowboys had one of the best O-lines for like 4 or 5 years straight. No questions asked. You look at Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb later on, like they went and got guys that made a competent team. The only problem is they didn't have a guy like Dan Campbell who went in that locker room and talked that talk, walked that walk, and the player said, hey, this is my guy, right? I'm going to win. The playoffs come, we not losing by 30 to just anybody. This Lions team to me, bro, I'm not saying Ben Johnson leaving isn't going to hurt because it definitely is. But I believe Dan Campbell set the tone, man, in that locker room every day. And the players just believe in anything he say, man. If he say, this the game plan, they're going to run it no matter if they want to do it or not. He might even give 2 of their practices. I don't even know, bro. But this dude, it seemed like when I say old school, like I know we talk about old school coaching. And Troy Aikman was talking about Mike Zimmer last night with the old school coaching. His style of old school to me is just it's outplayed, right? It's just not, it doesn't fit in what's going on today. Dan Campbell's old school is he gonna put on them shoulder pads and get down with you. He probably in the locker room, in the weight room, getting busy. Like, this is my coach, this is my guy. And I think the Lions, man, going forward, bro, I don't ever see them going through another drought of number 1 picks or 6 seasons and all that type of stuff ever again, bro, with Dan Campbell being there.
I think that's a fair take. Campbell, I think a lot of people hated and it's the social media era, the sound clip, the sound bite era.
Biting the knees.
And he said come in and bite the kneecaps and do the damn thing, and we're gonna fight every single day, and give me the coffee. No. And it's like the sound clips, and everyone always laughs at the sound clips and stuff. And they was right with Nick Sirianni. I mean, that guy's goofy as all hell. But they was wrong with Dan Campbell because
100%.
that some gun can coach.
He
And
can,
that's
bro.
how you build culture, and that's how you build toughness, and that's how you build grit, and that's how you set the standard. And the standard is the standard, and you can see that in Detroit right now. And Ben Johnson's one of the best play callers in all of football right now.
Yeah.
Dan Campbell is showing you what it's like to have, a Mike Tomlin. This is what it's like.
Yeah.
Weekly confidence in defense, weekly confidence in scoring, weekly. There's no like hitch in thought. There's no, it's a tough match. No, every week you're going to get full blown. There's no what's the word I'm looking for? There's no like the Mike McDaniel, the Kyle Shanahan, the CBS that happened.
Yeah.
Offense where it's like misdirection and all this fun bullshit. This is how you win football games. You got to have toughness. You got to play defense. You got to run the football. No matter what you think. Yeah, you can throw the football. Yeah, Jameson and Amon-Ra St. Brown can have 140 plus each, whatever. That's just what comes with it.
Yeah.
When you score 50 points. But on a weekly basis, no matter who you got, no matter who you line up against, there's this confidence. And I think that they have that. They showed it to us week 1 last year against Kansas City. And it's something that I think lacks from a lot of teams, whether it's Dallas with Mike McCarthy, even Buffalo to a certain extent with Sean McDermott. I think that there's still some untapped potential in what Buffalo can be. Philadelphia doesn't have toughness with Nick Sirianni. I think that's completely lacking. I think you're seeing it with Dan Quinn in Washington, who I did not believe in. I didn't think that was going to work, but they have a good play caller in Cliff Kingsbury, so that's the focus with him. And then on the rest of the team, it's Dan Quinn is able to cobble this thing together. Not always having the best play caller in football is the best idea for a head coach. Shane Steichen, great play caller, shitty head coach. Doesn't know how to build culture, doesn't know how to build toughness.
Yep.
I think Ballard has done a good job drafting and doing that, but it's the other way around. Doug Peterson, he won the Super Bowl in Philadelphia, so it covers up a lot of the facade, which is they go down to Jacksonville. We're going to build this thing from the top down. We get all these first, top draft picks. He can't build toughness. That Jacksonville team is not tough. It's talented. It's not tough.
Yeah.
Zach Taylor, great play caller. Not tough. Why Cincinnati never control games? And they're always like fighting from behind, trying to score 35 points.
The Super Bowl run was a facade, bro. They were not a Super Bowl team. They just went.
I
say this all the time, and I could be wrong, but Lamar Jackson missed that playoff game. If Lamar Jackson played them and not Tyler Huntley in the playoffs, they might not even have made the championship that year.
Fair point. And that's just what happened. I mean, that's the same thing that happened with Philadelphia, right? Like we're talking about Philadelphia made that run and won that Super Bowl because of Nick Foles. Like not because of Nick Foles, but like that defense was disgusting. They had the underdog mentality.
Yeah.
That wasn't because of Doug Peterson. That was because you had a bunch of dudes that were 30 years old, pissed off, Chris Long, Brandon Graham, Lane Johnson. You had all these dudes that were just already
Alshon Jeffries. He didn't care about nothing. He just wanted to go out there and play.
With Doug Peterson. And Nick Foles comes in there and just, starts slanging it. And that's just, it happens sometimes. And it happened with Cincinnati. But those are 1 year, like, bang. And then what? It falls back down to earth, right?
Yeah.
And that's what Zach Taylor's a great play caller. I even think to a certain thing, Dayball is a great play caller. We saw that in Buffalo. But it doesn't seem like he can build it. I mean, I don't know who's going to fix this Giants thing. It might have to be Bill Belichick, to be honest with you. It might take a Belichick to fix Giants and bring them back to
I like that.
They're I know it's a blue team, but they're like a true blue blood of the NFL, in my opinion. The Giants are, and they're a team that should be in the conversation every single year.
100%.
Ravens, Antonio Pierce. I love Antonio Pierce. But for some reason, and maybe Mark Davis believes that he was going to be a Vrabel type, I think he's too much of a player coach. I don't think he's hard enough. Like I think
he's a DC. He's more of a DC than a HC, right? He's a guy.
Probably, yeah.
I'm with you. I think he's a player's coach, but he's too friendly of a
Correct.
player's coach. Like, yeah, I want you to feel like we can kick it, we can hang, but I want you to also know I got the authority, and I want you to respect my opinion more so than we just hanging out like you, almost like a parent-son conversation, dad, father. Like, I'm not your friend, I'm your father. And I'm not saying he's trying to be their father, but he's their leader, not their friend. You know what I'm saying?
I think that's right. And that's the problem, is that if there's no other like elite trait in that coaching room, like Scott Turner's the OC there. I think Patrick Graham's the DC there. Like, Scott Turner's good. He's not great. And there's not a difference maker. And also they're lacking just pure talent. Yeah, they got Max and Brock Bowers, but there's no quarterback to elevate anything. So I'm not saying Pierce is dog shit by any means. But he's not good enough to fix this thing. And I think that there's more wrong with the Raiders than that. Eberflus, do you think that team's tough at all in Chicago? At all? At all?
If you look at the roster, yes, but leadership,
Talented.
no. Bro, and I'm gonna be honest. I believe if I'm the Chicago Bears, bro, I'm already putting the number in my phone. Look, we messed up. We're gonna lose this year. It's cool. Cliff Kingsbury, please come save us. Caleb Williams wanted you so bad. Just come over here, right? Be our head coach. You can hire DC. And I'm not even saying that Cliff is the biggest leader of men. Like, I always praise Cliff, but I just know he kind of gives you that feel that he can relate to a young QB and put him in his side pocket and kind of bring him along. We saw that with Kyler. I just think Kyler sometimes, bro, is kind of Kyler to me is like one of those kids in class, man, where he's a trouble child, right? I'm not saying he's a trouble guy on the field or off the field. He just always got something going on, whether, when Cliff was there, it wasn't the best circumstances. I believe him and Kyler butted heads a lot, but Caleb wanted Cliff to begin with. And if I'm Chicago Bears, I don't care how this season finishes out. I got this number saved, and I'm calling Cliff, and I need you over here ASAP. Not as the OC, as the 8C, and we could build around it. But to go back to, I know you. I know you're in the Cliff guy. You're the biggest Cliff guy.
Well, it's not that. It's like, I love Cliff, but it goes back to like the toughness factor. Like, I'm just not sure.
The tough. But that's why I said I believe the Bears aren't lacking toughness. They just lacking a direction. I believe if you look at that offense right now, bro, they have no leader, no direction on that offense whatsoever. Yeah. I believe when you take a QB 101, you have to have a OC in place, regardless if he's the head coach or the offensive coordinator. If you look, I got these guys right here, right? That's what I'm going to bring up. O'Connell doesn't remind me of a toughness type of guy. He seemed like one of the coolest dudes on the sideline, but he's fun. He's fun. Flores is, but what I'm saying is, even if Flores wasn't there, this offense still would have been clicking. Now, the defense would have been garbage like they've been, but Flores brought the toughness. He brought everything. He was the glue that this team needed to be a complete team. Bingo. But O'Connell isn't the toughness, but he's definitely a direction in this what we gonna do. Sean McVay, that's my guy. I love me some Sean McVay. Sean McVay isn't toughness to me, but he also don't look like he gonna take no shit from nobody either. If you come in that building acting crazy, like, he gonna get you right. So toughness goes a long way, but leadership to me is the key. And like, O'Connell doesn't give me that leadership, like, oh my God, coach gonna put me in timeout if I act wrong type of feel. Right, yeah. But he's also a guy that he seems like Kellen Mond and Josh Dobbs and all these guys, when they were playing quarterback, could say, hey, coach, I messed up. That's cool, man. Don't worry about it. I'm gonna draw up a better play for you, and we're gonna get you right the next time. So it's a different way to approach it. Like, I don't mean to say parent, but not every parent is the same. You know what I'm saying? As humans, we all different people, and we all receive messages differently. But I believe the Chicago Bears just need a direction. And I'm just saying, I think Cliff will come in there and give them the direction. And if a Brian Flores type feel came on the defense, then that's the glue that they need. Almost like a O'Connell and Brian Flores. I believe that's what Cliff needs, a DC that can bring the toughness, because he's not the toughest.
I think you're right. I don't think you're wrong at all. I do in two ways. One, I think you're right. One, I think you're wrong. In that I do think you're right. This team just needs a direction. I just don't think that they're prepared for winter in Chicago. I think that's my bigger, not that they're weak, but they're just not built for winning in the winter in Chicago. I think that's maybe my bigger point here as far as toughness from that perspective for Chicago specifically. Like this team, you look at that schedule rest of season, I could literally tell you, I think that there's better than a 30% chance that they don't win another game rest of season.
I mean, yeah, but we talking, we talking, I know this year is a wash. I'm just saying for the future though. But this
is the thing though, like winning at the back end of the year, and and this is again, it's winter in Chicago. This is building culture. This is building toughness. This is building what this thing is going to be.
Yeah.
It's and you're playing Vikings, Lions, Packers. You're playing all your divisional foe 5 times in the next 7 games. This is where you build as a team. I'm just not sure they're in the right space mentally or physically to do that. And I think Eberflus is not, I don't think he's a good coach. I do think you're right though. I think Cliff Kingsbury would bring a direction and a juice to this team, especially this offense. I'm not as confident, I think, as you are, and that he would be a great head coach, as good as as much as he would be a great coordinator / play caller for Caleb, obviously. But I do think that they would need to find somebody to come in here and be that, like you said, the Flores piece.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what I mean. He's still going to need that toughness. Like I said, the O'Connell and Flores, that was a perfect match. We all knew what O'Connell could do. If you look at y'all offense with Kirk, every year it was topping every chart. But the defense was at the bottom of every single category every single year, right? They gave up, 30-some points to the Colts, and the Vikings had to come back and win that game. That would have never happened if Brian Flores was in the building. So I'm not saying that Cliff is the ultimate head coach without a Flores type defensive guy. I'm just saying a lot of times in this league, bro, if you win in games and you scoring points, your defense, man, can kind of pick up on that juice too. But you still need a direction and some toughness. And when I look at Sean Payton, right? Sean Payton, he's like a grumpy grandpa, right? He's not the toughest. He's not the toughest, but he ain't the weakest either. Like, he gonna talk his talk, and he gonna smack you in the helmet and talk back, right? And I think I even seen him and Bo get into it on the sideline, but Bo know, like, hey, this coach, I love this guy. He's getting me in the right position. But these two right here, man, I mean, this is a great match. We all know Denver has a great defense on paper in general, but it works when both guys, the head coach and the OC and the DC, are all connected in one. And the toughness is there because one side of the ball brings it, and the other coach don't have to worry about covering the whole ship, man. And the Broncos are a perfect example. I wish I brought up all my pictures because I had Dan Quinn, right? Even when I talk Cliff Kingsbury, Dan Quinn, he's not the toughest guy. I don't watch Dan Quinn. He looked like a pushover, to be honest. I don't mean to take his character away, but he just seemed like one of those guys where if he really like you, man, he'll let you slide today. Like, all right, man, just be ready tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? But I watched him when he was in Dallas. I watched our defense play beyond their means when he was on the field, right? They lost to the Packers, of course, and we blew a 30-point game in like halftime. But before that Packers playoff games, bro, that Dallas Cowboys defense was striking. Pick sixes. We led the league in interceptions, touchdown, pick six. I mean, everybody was on point when Dan Quinn was in the building. I believe he needed a Cliff Kingsbury as his OC because he's not an offensive guy, right? If Dan Quinn was with the Commanders and they had Jay Gruden as the OC, I don't think they'll be doing what they're doing right now, man. We might be booing this team as we speak. So I think it was a perfect match. And a Ben Johnson, to me, to go back to McDermott in Buffalo with, like you said, they need, I guess, a guy. I believe Ben Johnson is the coach for Buffalo. My biggest problem with Buffalo is I think they're gonna be too good, and again, they're gonna keep the coaching staff around because they won too many games, right? Say they beat the Chiefs in the AFC Championship, they go to Super Bowl. You can't fire your coach after that. So that's why I'm glad the Cowboys are losing, because winning sometimes stops the viewpoint of what really needs to be fixed. And I believe the Buffalo Bills could use a Ben Johnson. I believe that's why he stayed in Detroit, right? He had 3 or 4 jobs he could have took, and he said, nah, I'm good. I'm going to just wait this one out. So Yeah, man, coaching is key, bro. I love me some coaches, man. You want to sign up to be my coach, brother. I take a, I don't know what I need coaching for, but I'm just saying I love me some coaching. So, any before we get out of here, any jobs that are hot seat coaches that are open, that you think need to do coaches, and what coach you think should go to certain jobs? Like Jaguars, we all know probably needs a coach, and then push this Jaguars thing, right? Not to prolong it, bro. The owner is sleep at games. I get this narrative that people keep saying Doug Peterson, why he ain't fired yet? When have the Jaguars ever made a move when they were supposed to, right? Urban Meyer should have been fired when he skipped the plane ride and stayed in Cleveland. Like, this ownership doesn't care, man. They don't pay attention half the time. So stop expecting Doug Peterson breaking news to be fired right now, bro. It's not coming, and if it does, it's a surprise to me, because this ownership just rides it out with their people, and that just is what it is in Jacksonville. So I know Doug could be replaced at some point, but stop waiting on the breaking news for Doug to be fired, man.
These are
Go
all
ahead,
the
Cody. I was long-winded on that one, but go ahead, do your
no,
thing,
I
bro.
think it's factual. That's the problem, is that like even the report that came out yesterday was that, well, Trent Baalke's going to save his job because, he's done well and he's got a connection. All this BS that comes out about, but Baalke of all people deserves to be fired first in Jacksonville.
Yeah, for sure.
They botched this build the last two draft classes by taking Trayvon Walker ahead of Aiden Hutchinson and Kayvon Thibodeau. Like, this last year, not drafting offensive linemen as early as they should have. Like, it's,
I mean, even signing Gabe Davis was like, what is this
idiotic.
For?
Paid Christian Kirk too.
What is this about, man? I mean,
they go and draft guys that are like,
they set free agency. They set free agency with Christian Kirk signing. He was the reason Tyreek Hill wanted more money. He was like, hold up, man, Christian Kirk getting paid what?
So I think that there's like 7 spots right now that I have my thoughts on. One, obviously the Jets is going to be open. They already canned him. Chicago, I think Eberflus, he's been there since 2022. I think he needs to be gone. Antonio Pierce, they need to be done with that. When they bring in a new quarterback, they bring in a new coach. Dayball, they kind of gave him a little bit of a positive feedback. I think it was yesterday. Bullshit. GM needs to be gone. Shane needs to be gone. And Dayball needs to be gone. They botched this thing. Everybody saw it live on air on HBO, the fumbling of this whole situation. I mean, the easiest corollary to look at right here is, hey, Dad, or no, hey, son, who should we draft? Jaden Daniels. Well, we got Daniel Jones. So, and then you also look at Atlanta and you want to say Atlanta just signed Kirk Cousins and then drafted Michael Penix. Like, they understand, at least Atlanta understands you need to have a quarterback. Whereas the Giants, it's like, no, man, we got Daniel Jones. And now he's benched and DeVito's going to be playing. So,
speaking of that, though, bro, we know we got the Giants and the Cowboys on Thanksgiving, right?
Is that what the game is?
It's Cooper Rush versus DeVito, baby. The Jive Turkey Bowl. This is the Jive Turkey Bowl, man. So it's the Jive Turkey Bowl. If you want to watch it, watch it. If not, watch Jingle All the Way, man, on Netflix, brother. You might be all right.
Give me DeVito.
Man, some Jive turkeys, man. Go ahead, bro.
You said Dougie P. I agree with Dougie P.
Yeah.
Shane Steichen. I think Steichen should be gone. I'm not sure he will be, especially if Richardson keeps playing and he plays the rest of the season well and they finish. I don't know. Irsay's got a short temper, short leash, though. Ballard is close. I think Ballard was close to getting canned last year. So I think that whole thing could get blown up this year, even though the team is in a fine spot. And then Mike McCarthy. So I think that's 7 right now, but I think other ones that are kind of in question. If Tennessee's not happy with Brian Callahan, sure, but I think that management may be happy with him. I think Mayo is safe. I think Canales is safe. They both have been there for a year. Zach Taylor's a close one. If that team completely shits the bed, rest of year, you could see Zach Taylor get moved. But I think the number right now, if I had to set amount of new coaches next year, I'd probably set at 8.5 or 7.5, something like that, maybe 8.
Yeah,
be the number there. And some of the coaches, like, who are the first coaches that come to mind for me that I want to see hired? 1, Belichick. 2, Vrabel. 3, Brian Flores. 4, Ben Johnson. 5. I'd love to see Dion. I don't think he's going to leave college. If he does, it'll be to go with Shador, which I think will be Dallas or Las Vegas. So I think it'll be those 4 guys. Those are my favorite 4 right now.
Well, the Dion thing, I just don't see it in Dallas, bro. I believe the Raiders are the team. He's better off. One, they got the more capital to draft Shador anyway, right? They already going.
Well, they would have to trade Dak to Las Vegas.
Who?
Dallas.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. That's why I said. That's what I'm saying. I think the Raiders are going to be, if Dion came into the league, it would be the Raiders, bro. It would be the Oakland Raiders. I mean, the Las Vegas Raiders. They already going to be a top 4 pick anyway. You can move up to the 101, all I care, to get your quarterback. But regardless, they have the better capital to do it and a better situation to replace Pierce and take Shador. I just don't see it in Dallas, man, with Jerry Jones still being there. But I mean, the Saints, the Saints is pretty much wide open right now. I think the Panthers are going to roll with what they have.
Dave Canales.
Yeah, I mean, man, this is ugly, bro. And this is what I mean, Cody. Every year we go through this quarterback coach cycle, right? We act like it's only 32 teams, bro. Every year, 3 or 4 quarterbacks come in the league. We got to figure out which 4 or 5 are going to be replaced. And it's a moving cycle. The quarterbacks, the coaches, the same way. The coaching and quarterback is like this. And this is the reason why young quarterbacks don't succeed, because you look at Baker Mayfield, Caleb Williams right now, right? He only in year 1, he got a new OC. A lot of these guys, Justin Fields had, you can name the list of quarterbacks, Sam Darnold, that got 4 or 5 different OCs through their coaching playing years, and you wonder why quarterbacks don't work. But then you also wonder why the coaching don't work, because they didn't had different OCs around them. Only the strong survive. Look at Sean McVay. Sean McVay, bro, all of his branch go gets head coaching jobs every year.
Yep.
Raheem Moore, Kevin O'Connell. You can go down a list of Sean McVay guys that go get AC jobs, and this league is just a rotation place, man. I just wish, I know the college guys, I guess, aren't as in favor a lot during the offseason, but I just think these owners got to stop wheeling and dealing in the same buckets. It's like, oh, man, you was fired 3 years ago from it. Oh, yeah, come on over here. Lead my team. Like, stop doing this, man. Can we get some new names, fresh faces? And I honestly, Cody, I would rather lose with a new guy I never seen do it than to lose with a guy that I seen lose every single time with other teams, but he keep getting jobs somewhere else, bro. I just don't understand that strategy. And I hope I would like to see Bill Belichick come back in the league, though, man. I think taking the year off, seeing the game differently is really going to help Bill build his team. But I like what you said about the Cowboys, man. Before I move on and get out of here, Bill to the Cowboys, to me, will be a tone setter. He'll come in there, scrub the floor clean. Now we're going to have a system in place. And if he hired, let's just say, his OC or DC to precede him in 2 years down the line, now we got a floor. Now we got a guy that's already in the building. He's already, he knows the system. Now we can get rolling. But to me, the Cowboys need a guy who's going to come in and just fix the ground, man. Just fix the structure, lay down the cement, whatever you want to call it. But I don't expect our new head coach to come in and win 14 games and take us to the Super Bowl. I don't believe it's going to happen. I don't think it will happen. I think we need a tone setter, and then in 2 years, we'll be back to where we need to be. So, yeah, man, the coaching is crazy, man. Hopefully we get some good coaching going on. But to me, Dan Campbell and Mike Tomlin, though, bro, those are those guys, man. Those are the ones you look up to, you want on every team. If we can get some DNA, Spider-Man can get the spider, bite him in the arm and bite somebody else, man. We need some more Mike Tomlins and Dan Campbells in the league, bro. So shout out to everybody in the chat. I see everybody in here, man, hollering at us about Cliff. They ain't liking my Cliff takes, Cody. I guess they with you, man. But I like Cliff, man. He's a cool dude. I just think he got to be with the right people. And I'm watching what he doing with J-Day,
Cliff, by the way.
Okay, all right. You ain't act like you ain't like him too much when I bring him up every time, bro.
I don't think he's a good head coach. I think he's a great offensive coordinator. I just don't think he's going to be. I don't think he is a great head coach.
So So do you think let's just say if Brian Flores left there and went to the Bears and fixed that defense, do you think Cliff would be a solid head coach? Or would you say that's Flores / Cliff?
I think I'd rather see Flores be the head coach and Cliff the OC.
Okay.
Have it be that dynamic.
Hey, well, I say this in Chicago, that makes sense though, right?
Yeah.
In Chicago, because a team like Chicago needs a DC toughness type of coach. So I'm with you, but you talking LA Rams or somewhere. I think sometimes, Cody, what these teams play how their weather is. Like you said, in the wintertime. What are the Bears gonna be in the wintertime?
Hard.
You need that toughness. Baltimore, right? You got these teams that play in the snow. You need that toughness at head coach, man, when it comes to the bad weather team. So I'm with you, man. I'm with you. I mean, hey, we got a cool guy in Green Bay too now. He ain't the toughest, but he talk his talk, man. You know what I'm saying? He do his thing. So all right, Rock, man. All right, man. I'm gonna leave Cliff alone. I'm gonna jump off the cliff with this one, man. I'm gonna leave him alone. No more Cliff from me. At least my girl Rhonda, she agreed with your boy, man. You know what I'm saying? So moms agree with you, Cody. So, just shout out to moms who agreeing with this dude instead of me, man. It's all good. But yeah, Cody, man, I guess look, man, we had a good show, bringing up the coaches, bringing up the players. Week 11 recap, man. Cliff to the moon. There go my brother right there, man. Yeah, man. But a good show, man. I love being here with you, big dog. So anything we got going on, man? Thanksgiving coming up and what we got like
about
next week.
Away.
Yeah, about a week away, man. So we got anything going on? Any Thanksgiving specials? What you got going on for Thanksgiving? I think we'll be back next week before it, but
next week for Thanksgiving. Actually, I'm going to Texas this weekend to go to the Longhorns game for the first time in my life. And then I'm
first time, man. I would have thought you would have been what? You travel everywhere else.
I've been to Austin. I just haven't been to a game. I've been to Austin like a dozen times this last year for work stuff, but I haven't been to a game yet. So I'm gonna try and go to that Kentucky game this weekend.
Cool.
And then I'm going back to Minnesota, and then I'm driving from Minnesota back to South Carolina for Thanksgiving. My family's coming with. So I got I got some turkey. I got some ham. I'm not doing a full turkey. I'm doing just a turkey breast because ain't nobody trying to really eat turkey for Thanksgiving. That's a bunch of fugazi.
I'm over the turkey, man. Give me some tacos, brother. I'm cool.
Taco, damn, that's interesting. So my theory is always prime rib. You eat prime rib for Thanksgiving. You eat prime rib for Christmas. That's the move. My grandma messed up when we were kids, and she started making prime rib because everyone complained about the turkey and the ham. And because she couldn't cook it wet, she kept cooking it dry, and everyone's like, "This is garbage. We don't want this. Give me cornbread, and I'm good. That's it. Cornbread and corn bake, and those are my two favorite side dishes." But so I bought the little tiny, like the 2-pound turkey breast, the frozen turkey breast, and I'm gonna smoke that thing up. I'm gonna get some ham. I'm gonna smoke that up just a little bit, just so there's a portion on my plate because I want a little bit of turkey, but not too much.
Yeah, you gotta have a little bit. Yeah,
and then I'm gonna do me a fat prime rib. That's what I'm cooking up for Thanksgiving next week.
That's it, baby. Well, I usually be stuck at work on Thanksgiving, but if I'm actually able to eat, honestly, Cody, I ain't a big Thanksgiving dinner or food guy, man. I don't want to feel like I gotta eat certain things every Thanksgiving. You know what I'm saying? So the turkey is like cool, but man, I was in Dallas one year on Thanksgiving when they played the Commanders, and trust me, bro, we had tacos. That's all they had that was open. So whatever, I'm cool with just eating anything on Thanksgiving. I'm not a give me this menu type of guy. You know what I'm saying? Just give me some potato salad and some bomb mac and cheese. Whatever else, I'm cool with. So
that's fair.
I'm good with that, man.
You got some tacos in Texas. You could have went a lot worse. I tell you what, I think tacos in Texas.
Listen, that's all that was open after the game, bro. On Thanksgiving, we was like, damn, bro, we hungry as a mug. So thankfully, the tacos kicked in for us, brother. So potato salad, mac and cheese, no raisins in the potato salad, man. Like we had on me and Mike's show.
No,
if you ain't seen that episode, man, have a good time with that one, man. Good laugh, but. Yeah, man, I guess, man, before we get out of here, Cody, we're going to be back next week with the people, man. Anything before we close out, brother?
That's it, brother. We'll be back for the hurdle tonight at 8:30 with Matty Keywoom. And
yes, sir.
Keep on crushing everything at South Harmon, SouthHarmonFF.com, patreon.com/South Harmon. Go tap in, tune in every single day.
That's it, baby. Tap in with the Patreon too, man. Sign up. We're going to start posting the link somewhere on here so y'all can click on it, see what's going on with it, man. And get a little bit more access to it, baby. So we appreciate y'all to cook up this week, next week, 10 a.m. Tuesday mornings. We'll be here, me and Cody. We out of this thing. Give me one, Cody. Hold up, brother.
Huh?
And we out of this thing, baby.